Check one, check two. Welcome to today's video. I hit record. There's no editing. There's no post-production. There's no safety net whatsoever. I switched back to the shotgun microphone because I was told by a kind viewer that the wireless lav mic had some kind of buzz in it, and I have not investigated, so instead I just fell back to this. So it's going to feel a little more cavernous. I can do this now. Doppler effect, you know? Can't do that with a lav mic. You're just tied to your microphone. Now it's like the microphone is your ear and you are there, and I move around. Where did I go? Can you still hear me? I'm in a completely different room. Anyway, enough having fun. We got to talk about the Fantastic Four trailer. I'm kidding. I liked it a lot. For those of you who don't know, we're going to start. I decided, I'm discovering in real time, much the way Corey Feldman was being hacked in real time when he was trying to release his most recent documentary, which the subject of the documentary is not something to make jokes about, but yes, in real time, I'm sort of discovering this new format, this sort of, almost like video podcast light, but with, whatever. I don't even, see, this is how much I'm discovering it. I don't even know what to call it right now, but I think I should, because I live in a house that, some might consider a hoarder house, but I like to use the phrase, it's not hoarding if it's cool shit. So thankfully, I have a house full of cool shit, and why not show some of it off in these videos? So we're going to start doing show and tells. In theory, related maybe to the subject of the video, if that's what I can do. So today I can do that, and I wanted to show this off because this isn't just, and you've seen it before if you're a loyal viewer of the show. Or a loyal hate watcher. Either way, thanks for the engagement. This is a Fantastic Four little trade paperback. It's the first 6 issues of the original comic book series. This was published, I think, in 1977. It's a beautiful little full-color little trade of these issues. This little artifact right here. Found it at a garage sale when I was a little kid, probably 4-ish. I kind of feel like I had to have been under 4, because my family moved when I was 5, and I feel like I got this before we moved. I could be wrong, but around that time, this made me a comic book fan. This is the first bit of comic book world I ever read, ever got into. I was a Fantastic Four fan before I was any kind of other comic book fan. And since I was 4 or 5 years old, the Fantastic Four have a special place in my heart. No question about it. I defend at least the first Jessica Alba Fantastic Four movie. The second one is rough. I think I give it a pass because I do really like the cast, and I think they got a lot of the casting right. But that second one is tough. It's like a relative that really is really horribly screwing up their life, but you love them and you stick by their side. But you know what they're doing is wrong. Like if they weren't your blood, you would have cut ties a long time ago. That's kind of how I feel about that movie. In any case, I did want to read too, because this has an awesome... This is also where I started kind of becoming a Stan Lee fan, because he's got little blurbs all over the place in this book, and I love he has a little epilogue at the back, and I just wanted to read it because I think it's really funny. And there you have it. The first 6 issues of one of the most memorable comic book series of all time. But do not despair, O seeker of the truth. What you have just finished reading in awesome wonder is but the tip of the Marvel iceberg. Many are the sagas still to unfold. Many are the wonders yet to come. Many are the subsequent volumes calculated to separate you from your last remaining shekels. See ya in our next volume, Stan. So he already, it was 1977. He saw the road ahead. That's all I'm saying. And how right he was, the sagas to come. So there's a little bit of show and tell, a little bit of Fantastic Four personal history. And I never miss an opportunity to work in Stan Lee impression. So you're welcome, or sorry about that, depending on how you're feeling. Speaking of sorry, wearing my Banff sweatshirt up in Canada. Anyway, new trailer. I think the best thing that it really showed is, I mean, obviously, they're definitely focused on the heart. They're definitely focused on the family, which I like. Again, it's like, I don't dislike the sort of the push and pull of the Jessica Alba Fantastic Four, where it's a relationship kind of on shaky ground. Obviously Ben Grimm is very upset to be, transformed into the Thing, which he was in the comics, like in these early comics. He struggled a lot with that idea of being a monster. But I guess I appreciate, in a world where so many comic book franchises and obviously kind of coming out of, I don't know, I guess it was maybe just sort of a post Sin City, post Watchmen movie world where they were like, oh, there's money to be made with dark, gritty, brooding comic book movies. Everything kind of turned into like, well, what if there was a gritty version of this? And I think that works in certain cases. I'm very excited to see how the Ninja Turtles Last Ronin movie shape, whatever that is. I don't even know if it's live action, if it's animation. I don't even know what it is, but I think it's a cool story, and I like the idea of a separate sort of dark, gritty take on like Ninja Turtles, because also they live in sort of a grimy, seedy world that, lends itself to that, maybe a little more than it lends itself to like the silly world of the cartoons that it became. But I really like, I said it in my Snow White review. I like a movie that is joyful. I like a Footloose ending. Not that I think Fantastic Four is going to have a Footloose ending, but I like a sense of simple, uncomplicated heart and love, and that being the sort of the binding foundation of these characters, I think is a good thing. I also love retrofuturism. It's probably, for me, the thing that like really drew me into the Fallout video games and things like that. I think somebody not too long ago I saw use the term cassette futurism, which I thought was kind of a good way of describing it. Like, it's futuristic, but it's still a world that is, for some reason, using cassette tapes. You know what I mean? Like, that's the bullseye for me. And I think the world fits the tone, fits the characters. Galactus doesn't look super big. The sort of the hints that you get of Galactus, I'm sometimes compromises need to be made just to put it on a movie screen. But I'm curious to see where that, like, sort of how that shapes up. Maybe he changes size. Again, I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. But I don't recall if Galactus would change his size. My memory is that he didn't, but I could be wrong. So yeah, I'm very excited for this movie. Once again, I think the cast is a great looking cast. I'm unoffended by really, like, I don't really like Johnny Storm's, just whether it's a wig, whether it's bleached blonde hair, whatever it is, it's a little phony looking. I would have preferred a coif, you know? Johnny Storm always kind of had like a rebel without a clue kind of coif, and you know, I would have gone with that. Match Sue a little bit more, their brother sister, you know, kind of have that look, have that family resemblance. But otherwise, you know, I think Pedro Pascal is, I feel like for me, he's on the edge of being very played out. I'm right, like I have now recognized that he's everywhere, that he's in everything, that it is all Pedro Pascal all the time. But I like him. So for me, he has not worn out his welcome yet. I think he's a really good actor. Once again, it's like he can do funny, he can do dramatic. He has a real, I think, a very captivating presence on screen, very charming. But I do worry he's going to hit that point. I think he's going to hit the wall for me pretty quick, where I'm just like, I just can't watch another thing with Pedro Pascal in it. Take a break. I got to take a break. I got to take a Pascal breather at some point, but not going to be before Fantastic Four. I'm excited for this. So now we're going to talk about what this video is really about. If all you cared about was Fantastic Four, get the hell out of here! Go! Get out of here! Please leave! Does anybody remember Greg Kinnear in As Good As It Gets? There's a part where Jack Nicholson is talking. I do this to my wife constantly. If she's talking, well, always, any case. But there's a part where Jack Nicholson's going on, and you know, is basically insulting Greg Kinnear after he has been beaten to within an inch of his life, and Jack Nicholson has no filter and is saying sort of awful things to him and isn't meaning to, but it's just too much for Greg Kinnear to hear, and he just goes, "Please just leave." It's my favorite. It's a terrible acting moment, but it's so. And I like Greg Kinnear. I think he's a good actor and stuff. You know, he was, at least back in the day. I haven't seen him in anything in a million years. I liked Talk Soup when he was the host. But that "please just leave" just makes me laugh every time. So I just blurt that out at my wife every once in a while. So if you see her on the street, you can do that. And it's 100% allowed. She'll get the joke. She'll get the reference. But in any case, there's a thing in life that I want to talk about, and that is assholes on the internet that need to take any opportunity to be right about something. So near me, there's a great pizza place. There are, it's a chain. It's called Aurelio's. Maybe you've heard of it. I think there's a bunch in like Illinois, somewhere over there, but there's one in Minnesota. There's one outlier. There's this, if you look at the map of where all Aurelio's are, it's like, they're all like this, around, like I think around Chicago. And then there's one over here in Minnesota. And that one, after 40 years, one family has been running that place for 40 years. It's going out of business. Tonight, I'm going to go eat dinner there. My last Aurelio's pizza. It's a bummer. It was a combination of sort of getting dealt a bad hand after a bad hand after a bad hand. And so it was not mismanaged. It was not like the owners aren't bad people. It was just a bad set of circumstances, and they just can't do it anymore. And it's a bummer. And a lot of people really love this place. And on Facebook, this is what I want to talk about. On Facebook, I saw the article that they were closing, And then I read the comments, and my God, why would I even bother reading the comments? There were so many people saying, well, that's what happens when you charge $29 for a pizza. And it was on and on and on about how expensive their pizza was. On and on and on. And I just looked at every picture of every one of these douche nozzles, and they all had such punchable, smug faces. And people have said I have a punchable face, so I can say that. I'm allowed to. With a guy with a punchable face, I'm allowed to tell you have a punchable face. And guess what? If you were one of those dumbasses in those comments and somehow you find this, you do. Deal with it. Look in the mirror. But, of course, I see this, and it's like, this is an article about a family losing their livelihood, and you have to be like, well, kind of serves you right for charging so much for a pizza. And of course, I had to get into the comments, and I had to I had to voice my opinion of their opinion. And some could say that that's a little hypocritical. But basically, I said, to everybody in these comments, just creaming their jeans, running to the keyboard to be right about something, to say, told you so, to dunk on somebody who's losing their livelihood because their pizza costs more than you like to pay. You're pathetic. You have a tiny dick. You are a loser. Please remember when you are sitting there eating your $8.99 Domino's pizza with your greasy fingers rubbing your tummy tum, and you're so content with yourself. You basically just ate industrial slop in the shape of a pizza. The reason a pizza might be more expensive is because they bought real ingredients, because they bought good ingredients. The profit margin on food is like nothing. I know people who run good pizza places. I don't know if I should shout. I won't shout it out. I just don't know, because this is a weird place to do it. But I know good people that own and manage great pizza places that make great pizzas. Guess what? They're a little more expensive than Domino's. But guess why? Because they get better ingredients. Case closed. Like, you can be... and I'm not saying you can't eat a Domino's pizza and like it. But what I'm saying is if that's setting a bar for you in terms of just a price where you think, okay, well, this is the price that all pizza should be. Well, then why shouldn't all food be $8.99? Why should you be like, why shouldn't you be incredibly upset at any food that costs $30? Because any place can go buy cornmeal industrial chemical slop and squish it and dye it with food dye into the shape of whatever food you want. And they can make it taste. I'm not gonna lie. I've recently discovered the breakfast steak at McDonald's, and it's disgusting to look at. It's disgusting to smell. The texture is revolting, but it tastes pretty good. It tastes pretty good. And I know there's nothing in that is good for me. There's nothing in that isn't poisoning my body, but they make it taste good. And that's all you're eating when you're eating at all these cheap pizza places. You're eating something that tastes good, but is poisoning your body. And I guess all of that is kind of beside the point, because really what I'm here to really vent about are the people who just have to take any opportunity. Like those guys, and spoiler alert, they're all guys. They all, at some point in their life, sometime in the last 40 years, went to Aurelio's and they were like, no, this is too expensive for me. This is why would I? It's not even. It's more like, well, why would I pay more when there are other pizzas that are cheaper? Like, again, spoiler alert, you can get a Roma pizza at Cub for $2? Something like that. They used to be $1 a pizza. I don't remember. It used to be 10 for $10. I don't know. It's probably $2 now. So yeah, you can go to Country Club, you can go to Rainbow Foods, and you can go get a freezer pizza for a couple bucks. Do you think that is the same pizza? Do you think that whatever, doesn't matter. My point is you had that thought, that like dirty little, scum-sucking like piece of slime asshole on Facebook has that thought at some time in their life. They're like, your pizza's expensive. Period. Fine. It's locked in. It's a core memory for that person for the rest of their life. They'll be on their deathbed going, yeah, you know what? I told them. I knew it. That was too, whatever. Like they'll be thinking about it forever, and they'll be really proud of themselves that they were right. My point is you see an article about a family losing their livelihood, something that they poured decades into, trying to make work, trying to, survive, and it can't survive any longer, and it's going away. And you think, oh, this is the perfect time to remind them that I always thought their pizza was too expensive. You're a dirtbag. That's it. You're just, for anybody to see something bad, something sad happening to, like, again, it's like if there was like the worst person in the world and like the headline was meanest, most uncaring, soulless person lost their job. I guess I don't even think I would comment on that and say like good. Like I don't even think I would bother. It's like, who cares? Like, I'm not the dunking, the needing to be right, the needing to say told you so, the needing to dunk for whatever reason. When you're just like, it's not, everything now is like us versus them. And I'm not going to get into politics, but everything is us versus them. Because, again, maybe I'm not spoiler alerting anything for anybody, but all media, all engagement, all social media engagement, all media engagement, it's all to make money. It's all to get clicks. Like, whether it's like literal money or it's power or it's clicks or it's like all those things. It's just, or attention. The way you get that attention, the way you get eyeballs is dividing people and saying to these people, like, you're my people. And then to these people, you're throwing middle fingers up to, and they'll come engage with you because they hate you. And that's all of this is. This is all just farming for any kind of attention, any kind of engagement. And these people are so trained. They're like trained little puppy dogs who now it's not even us versus them. It's not even like, oh, here's somebody I'm beefing with. Here's somebody on the other side of an issue. Like, I got to go dunk on that person because I'm on one team. They're on another team. I got to go dunk on the opposing team. This is just now, I need to be dunking. It's A, B, D, always be dunking. A, always, B, D, dunking. These things that are now connected to their social media are just wired. It's like, I imagine the Borg, and I imagine like wires and tubes coming out of someone's phone or out of someone's keyboard, and it's going into their veins. They're just addicted to it and glued to it, and I don't even want to say like they're addicted. I think it's just trained. I think it's just conditioned. Maybe it's conditioned is a better word. But now they're just like, I need to dunk on everything. I need to say told you so on absolutely everything. It's like, if this was like somebody's house caught on fire, you know, it's like a family losing a thing. If it was just a family that their house caught on fire, these guys would be getting in the comments saying, well, you gotta watch that. I've said it a million times. People aren't mindful enough of the dangers of a house fire. It's like, is that the place to go in? Like, is that the place? No, it's not. Okay, I've made my point. I don't need to keep talking about it. This light is really bright. You want to see something? You see this right here? That, like, glow? I have a hair light right here. So you get this. Spoiler alert, I went to college for video and film production, so things like a hair light, very important. I should probably actually move it over a spot. But my point is you get this glow, and if I hung something like right here, look at that. Look how much nicer that looks. See that? Problem is, watch this come into frame. Like, that's how, right on the edge of the lens, I would have to hang something to block that light hitting the lens. I probably will eventually, but then I gotta have a thing hanging here all the time. First world problems. Anyway, can you tell? There's like a few minutes left to the video, and I'm just wasting time. Here's some Where's Waldo jigsaw puzzles. This one has a naked lady on it, I think, because this is the famous... Oh, yep, there she is. I don't know if you can get in that close. But there's a naked sunbather right there. Sorry to show literal pornography on the channel, but there you go. By the way, that was a big hubbub when I was a kid. Some kid found a topless woman in a Where's Waldo, even though it's this big and it's a cartoon. Like, her nipple is just like a dot from a pen. But in all subsequent versions of the Where's Waldo books, that has been removed. So if you find if you see like an old Where's Waldo, I can't remember which book that was originally in, if it was Where's Waldo or the Great Waldo Search. I forget. I don't remember. But if you see old Waldo books like at a thrift store, look for the beach, look for the topless lady. If that means it's old, that means it's pre-controversy, which means it's probably highly collectible. It's probably worth $1 million. So I would get it. I would pay any price that the thrift shop is asking for it, because it's an investment in your future. So, anything else to show and tell? This was the last guy who left a douchebaggy comment on Facebook. He's not doing that again. Never again. I keep him here to make sure he doesn't, right? Right, bud? Little bastard? Either a part of it fell off or like a dead spider just fell out of it. Either way, I don't want to know. Thank you everybody so much for watching. We will continue this journey of discovery here on the channel and here on YouTube. I keep wanting to say Hat Hole Home Video, but that's not the name of the channel anymore. That might be something we revisit at some point. Figure out an actual channel name that isn't just my name. I'm looking at the viewfinder. Am I too dark? Like, that's like the whitest forehead you've ever seen. Or 5 head. Look at that. Want to see a little secret? Look at that. Look at how far back my hairline goes. Look at that. That's why I do this. Nobody knows. I'm young. Haha, I'm young. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. If you made it this far, if you made it to like the last seconds of the video and didn't subscribe, what the hell are you doing? Subscribe. Thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.